नमः पार्वती पतये गोविंद नाम संकीर्तनम।
So namaste again, once again. Very happy to meet you all here again. So we'll start the Bhagavatam session. We'll start with the slogam. As usual, we'll start with the slogam. Om Shuklam Bhardaram Vishnum Shashivarnam Chadurbhujam Shuklam Bhardaram Vishnum Shashivarnam Chadurbhujam Prasanna Dhyayet Sarva Vighnopashantaye Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha Guruve Sarva Lokanam Vijay Bhavarogina Nidhiye Sarva Vidyanam Dakshinamurtiye Namaha தென்னானுடைய பெரியவா போற்றி எந்நாட்டவர்க்கும் இறைவா போற்றி சர்வஜா சர்வவியாபி பெரியவா சரணம் மாய பிறப்பருக்கும் மகா பெரியவா அடி போற்றி. So we'll start the Bhagavatam. So last time we have seen the importance of Bhagavatam. How important Bhagavatam is. Once reading Srimad Bhagavatam, we have seen the Dadibhandan story last time, because Krishna Avatara is just before Kali Yuga. Krishna wants to show his powers so that people in Kali Yuga will believe, at least to some extent, about this bhakti. Bhakti is only a subtle form, isn't it? Bhakti is not, but bhakti is called adrishtam. That bhakti, we can't see the bhakti, isn't it? It's a kind of emotion, like you always pray to God and God will bless you. So we can't see anything here going on, isn't it? So he wants to show his power. That's why Krishna Avataram, in Krishna Avataram, he shows even to a small curd seller how the Vaikundam is, how Krishna Avataram is, isn't it? So we'll start with, so we have seen this importance of Bhagavatam. Now, I was about to say the pride of Bhagavatam, the greatness of Bhagavatam. So we'll start with the slogan of Bhagavatam. Janmadhyasya yato anvayadidarada schateshu abhighaswarat tene brahma hridayadi kavaye muhyanti yat surayah tejo varimrdam yata vinimayo yatratra sargo mrisham Damna svena sada nirasta guhakam satyam param dhimahi mukam karoti vachalam vangum langayate girim yat kripatamaham vande paramananda madhavam. This is the first slogam of Srimad Bhagavatam. That's why we have to say, before starting Srimad Bhagavatam, we have to say the first stanza. That's the first slogam of Bhagavatam. So I was about to say this pride of Bhagavatam, that is the greatness of Bhagavatam. See, we can see the greatness of Bhagavatam through a story. There was once a Brahmin called Atmadevan. He was called Atmadevan, who was living in the village near Tungabhadra river. So Atmadevan was a very great Vedic scholar, and he was a pure-hearted man. He was a pure-hearted person. And his wife, Dunduli, she was a very quarrelsome, and he was not a good lady. She was not a good lady. So Atmadev had no child. And because of that, he was miserable, because he was not having child. His wife is also very, he was a quarrelsome woman. So he felt very miserable. And so one day what happened is he left his home towards jungle, and he walked towards jungle to commit suicide. Okay, nobody should commit suicide. Suicide is considered as a very big papam. So, but he wants to commit suicide because he doesn't want to live anymore. So he was trying to hang himself. While he was doing that, he met a sannyasi there in the jungle, in the forest. The sannyasi happened to see him doing some, he can predict that he was doing some wrong thing which he should not do. So the sannyasi asked for the reason for his sadness. So he said he has plenty of food and he has plenty of wealth, but there is nobody to enjoy it. Hence he has come here to commit suicide. So the sannyasi told this Atmadevan, it's rather a blessing. Not having children is rather a blessing. Almighty wants everything should be done through you. So son is a form of a sorrow. See, that's why he explains like that. Because he's committing suicide. That's why he's explaining like that. Son is a form of sorrow. Because, one day you have to leave your son, or one day they will go out, or one day, see, so many things will happen. So son is only a sorrow. But Atmadev argued and sought blessing, because as he is a sannyasi, he sought blessings for a son, because son is necessary for moksha. Having son is necessary for moksha, because after he left his life, after his death, he will do tarpanam and everything, and annual rites, and this will lead him to go to moksha. So he wants a son. So what happened is, this Atmadev argued, and he was asking, and he explains, if you see, sannyasi told, this sannyasi, after hearing Atmadev's argument, he explained that even though if you are not having son, that's okay. If you offer yourself to the Almighty, it will attain, automatically it will bring moksha, So this annual rites, this Shraddha after death can only facilitate to go to the next better life, But Atmadev insisted, he insisted, the sannyasi, he insisted him getting on son, otherwise he will commit suicide. But as a sannyasi, he should not encourage this. Otherwise the papam will also, sannyasi will also get the papam. So what happened? The sannyasi, he gave him one fruit, say mango fruit. He gave him a mango fruit and asked him to give it to his wife. After eating this fruit by his wife, she will be blessed with a son. That's what the sannyasi said, like that. So what happened is, Atmadeva came back home from the jungle happily, and he gave the fruit to his wife, and he told her what happened in the forest, that he met a sannyasi, he gave the fruit, and we will have the children. Now we will have a child after eating this, so eat this. Atmadev said that she will eat the fruit, but she thought this woman, this wife, Dunduli, she was a very, she's not such a good lady, and she began to, she thought by eating this fruit, she'll be pregnant. That's for sure, because she knows the mantra is there in the fruit. Sannyasi has given the fruit, and there's a mantra in the fruit, and that will change her life. She knows that already. But this Dunduli, she thought that she's already old. She's already old, and she knew that the fruit given by the sun will make her, pregnant. And but what happened is, she's old, isn't it? So she thought that it will be miserable to become pregnant. And when she dies, what happens? If he delivers a child, when she was delivering a child, she could die also. So what if she dies? So while delivering the baby, and what will happen to all the wealth? Isn't it? So they got all the wealth. What happened to all the wealth? She thought that this Atmadev will marry again, and she doesn't want to depart from her wealth. So what happened is, she fed the fruit to the cow. They have cows, they have a lot of cow and all. So she fed the fruit to her cow and played as if she's pregnant. She pretended as if she's pregnant. Later on, what she did is, she brought her sister, who is also pregnant. So she brought her sister. She pretended to be pregnant, and she brought her sister's son and pretended that he is her son. So Atmadev is a simple man. He doesn't know all these things, all the tricks behind that. you know. So Atmadev doesn't know anything about this, and this Dunduli, she named her son as Dundugari. She named her son as Dundukari. Now the cow, the fruit was given to the cow, isn't it? That cow gave birth to a human son after eating this matra fruit, this fruit. And this human son, this baby was born with big ears. So this Atmadevan, he named him as Gokarnan. Go means cow. Karanam means ears. So he named him as Gokarnan. So both boys grew up. And Gokarnan was born to that cow. He was very wise. But this Dundukari was very, very wicked. What to say? He was very adulterous and remained always unclean. So this Dundukari, he indulged into prostitutes, and he was not absorbing the Trikala Sandhya Vandanam. He was not absorbing the religious things one has to do, isn't it? So daily Anushtanam one has to do. So, but he is not observing that Trikala Sandhya Vandanam. And Atmadev now, he was feeling very, 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 guilty for his son. Very guilty for his son, and thought he was better without son. Already the sannyasi told that without son it's okay. But now only he feels that without son it's okay now. He felt better, he was better without son. That's what he feels. So now this Dundugari, what happened is this Dundugari expended the entire wealth, and started beating his parents, scolding his parents always and beating his parents always. So looking all this Gokarnan came to Atmadevan and preached about Vairagyam. Vairagyam means dispassion. You are passionate to so many things, dispassion. Becoming dispassion means Vairagyam. He told that it's better you should leave the house. You should leave the wife, leave attachment, leave attachment of wife and son and go to the forest for bhakti. But this Atmadev was Atmadevan was fully absorbed into Almighty. But even then, this Dundukari is there inside the home, isn't it? So what happened is, one day, this Dundukari, he pushed his own parents, both his mother and father, his parents, into the well. Well, Kanaru, well. So this already Gokarnan was displeased, with his activities, with all the activities of this Dundukari. So what happened? He moved to Varanasi. Varanasi is Kashi's Kshetram, isn't it? Now Dundukari now is free now. He is in his home now without his parents, without Gokarnan. So he was all by himself. So he was a bad fellow, isn't it? So Dundukari, what happened is he started earning through illegal means, like, he stole jewelries, even in the king's place. From the king's place, he stole the jewelries and handed over all the jewelries to his prostitutes. He thought then, these prostitutes, they thought, what if the Dundukari, remained alive and they would be captured by the king? The king would take away the entire wealth, isn't it? So they thought the king may punish this prostitutes also for stealing the jewelry, isn't it? So what happened is, it would be better to kill Dundukari. So they thought that way. All these prostitutes, they thought that it would be better to kill Dundukari. So what they did is, they killed him by pushing him in the same well where Dundukari pushed his parents to death. So these things are happening at home. When Gokarnan is in Varanasi now, is in Kasi now, isn't it? So when Gokarnan heard about the death of his brother, Dundukari, he was so sad, and he went to Gaya. He went to Gaya to do Pinda Tarpanam, like, for Shraddam. Shraddam means the last rites after death. He did that because, he wanted to send his brother to Moksha. So he did all this rites, and he wanted to come home to see the home, how it is and everything. Gokarnan was also belongs to that home, isn't it? House, isn't it? So he returned back home. So on return to home, this Gokarnan, he was in his home, but he heard all creepy noises. He heard all the voices of ghosts, heard voices of weeping, some creepy noise, noise of all the animals, so much disturbances. But Gokarnan was not scared because, he has a Gayatri.
Excuse me? You're breaking up and you're frozen.
Yeah, let's just give it a minute.
Help us not to get scared, isn't it? So Gokarnan asked, he asked the voice that who is weeping and why is such condition? Why are you weeping? Who is that? Why are you weeping? He was never scared. So he has since he has in the house, the ghost told him that he was his brother. He was his brother and has become ghost after death. He could not go to Moksham. He could not go anywhere. He's now in the ghost body and he could not go anywhere. I'm caught in this. So I am weeping here. Gokarnan got confused. Why he should be in a ghost body? Because, already I did all the rituals, all the rites and all in Gaya. And I don't know why you are still in the ghost body. I don't know what to do. He doesn't know, what to do. But this ghost said that, even Gaya Shraddam is not enough. Because, he has done so many papams, Panchamata Mahapatagams. Means pushing his own parents to death is considered to be the ultimate papa, and he has done that. So all these papams I have done. So no Gayatri Mantram, no, nothing will save me. Nothing will save me. I have to be in this body and I have to cry. What to do? But this Gokarnan asked scholarly persons, very scholarly sages and everybody about this. They said that we don't know. We don't know what to do. We know only about about this Shraddam and all the rites and everything, but we don't know beyond that. But one thing you can do, you can ask Surya Narayanan, Surya Bhagavan. He's the Sarva Bhuta Sakshi, because Surya is always seeing us, what you are doing at the daytime. Daytime, you're all doing so many rights and wrongs and everything, papam, punyam, everything we are doing. So, but he is the Sakshi there. He is seeing everything, So you can chant, you can meditate on Surya Narayana, and you can ask him. So he meditated on Surya Narayana, Bhagavan, and stopped his journey. That is Suryan's journey for 1 second. So what happened is Surya Bhagavan, he came in front of Gokarnan and he said that doing all these papams, there is no pariharams, remedy for all these papams. But one thing you can do, you can set Srimad Bhagavatam Saptagam. Okay, Saptagam means 7 days you can say Bhagavatam in a proper procedure. Okay, 7 days. Srimad Bhagavatam according to the rules and according to the procedures. So Dundukari, also came. He set up this Bhagavata Saptagam. This Gokarnan set up all this Bhagavata Saptagam, Srimad Bhagavata Saptagam, and Dundukari also came listening to this katha, but he could not get a place to sit during this Bhagavatam. He could not sit because he's a ghost, isn't it? So what happened is he entered into a stick with 7 knots. So every day, 7 days Bhagavata Saptagam is for 7 days, isn't it? So every day what happened is 1 knot was breaking. So on the 7th day, the last knot tied up in the stick was also broken, and the ghost got moksha. The ghost went off. That is the Dundukari. In the ghost body, he went. He went to the ghost lokam, that is a Vaikundam, and shouted that I got moksha. See, this is how this Srimad Bhagavatam is. See, the Srimad Bhagavatam is considered to be the moksha sadhan. Moksha sadhan. This is clearly stated in Padma Puranam. All these things are stated in Padma Puranam. So the pride is talked about. The pride of Srimad Bhagavatam is talked about in Skandam and so many Puranams. So Srimad Bhagavatam will remove all the doshams or papams. Dosham means whatever type may be. Dosham means, what can I say? The doshams of, it may be a fault, it may be a sin, it may be a defect, it may be a disorder, or it may be a blame in a family. These are all doshams in a family. So they are describing, these Puranams, they describe the papams. All these papams, like, even, there are certain things that I'll say here, like, even if one is practicing papam, on doing papam every day, if one sada durachara rata, means if one is doing papam every day, and if he is not practicing his acharam, vimargaha, means coming, going in the wrong path, if he is not going in the right path, even if he is going in the wrong path, and kopagni datta, means one who is always angry. Sometimes you can see in our family itself, we can see that somebody will be angry always, will be, they won't smile, they won't have fun, they will be always angry. This is a kind of dosham, this is a kind of defect, isn't it? These are all the defects. It is said that the angriness, it's because of the angriness, if one gets angry, then he has to get angry to the angriness, because the palan of angriness, isn't it? Angriness is that he ruins the thing. Whatever he wants to do, the result of angriness, the result of getting angry is that he will ruin his own work. That is the result of angry. So nobody should get angry. You have to give some few seconds to think. Then the anger will run away. This is a dosham. There is no parikaram. There is no remedy for all these things, because it's a dosham. We all, all of us are human beings. So we have all these kind of defects or dosham, what we call as dosham. Jealousiness, misery means a miser. One will become miser, or jealousiness, or angriness. All these are called doshams. So if one has to free himself from getting angry, see, these are all then he has to anger into the angriness. That's what it is said. So there are so many doshams like this. Since and another one kind of dosham is one will have always a crooked plan, wicked plan to do one thing. If there is a right path, he won't go into the right path, correct path. He will always go into a wrong path. That is one dosham. Going into the wrong path, that is one kind of dosham. Having all kind of desire, lust, all these doshams will be wiped. All these doshams are wiped off, with Srimad Bhagavatam. Because there are pariharams, there is no remedy for all these doshams, these people. So the Kaushika Samhitai, There is one thing called Kaushika Samhita. It tells us about all the procedures for doing the Saptaham. And one has to have Saptaham at our home. Bhagavad Saptaham, it tells all about the procedure. It tells about the Narada Avahanam, means Devata Avahanam, Puja Kramam, how to do the puja, how to place all the Devatas in a proper direction, Devata Avahanam, all these things, all the procedure of doing the Bhagavad Saptaham is told in Kaushika Samhita. So Bhagavad Saptaham removes even Panchamahapadagam. I was telling about that Panchamahapadagam in the Atmadev story, isn't it? Pushing, parents, pushing the parents to death. That's the highest level of power. If it is done in a proper way, if the Saptaham is done in a proper way, even this papam is wiped off, So sins like acting, like behaving cunningly with his own parents or with his own wife, have no pariharam at all. Pariharam means expiation or remedy. Okay, Srimad Bhagavatam is the only way. So another type of sin is, suppose if one person gives some money, you take 2%, okay? One is, and 2% are friends, A and B are friends. Now, this B person is giving money, to this A person, and he tells him to keep that money because I don't have any, secured thing in my home, and you just keep money. Whenever I want, I will come and I'll take it from you. But this A person, he is a friend. He can something, adulterated in his mind, and he thought that he should not give the money to him, back to him. And then this B, he asked the money from A, and if A says that, no, I don't have money. When did you give me? See, this is a big sin because you are breaking the trust, isn't it? Faithlessness, unfaithful. You are unfaithful. You are breaking the trust. So this is a very big sin again. Vabhichara karinam, then one who does wrong thing always. And another thing is satyena hina, means always telling lies. He doesn't want to say, he doesn't like to say the truth, even though for menial reasons. Suppose if one person is asking another person, where are you going? He says something. Suppose if he's going to Walmart, say if he's going to Walmart, it doesn't have to, you can say that I'm going to Walmart. There's no problem. But if he says that, no, I'm going this way to see some friend. So something like, just like that, he tells, because he's used to telling lies always. This is one kind of sin. So the above sinners, all those sinners, all the sins, they don't have any pariharam at all. You have to again bogna, means you have to suffer for that, for doing those sins. But we don't know that we are making these sins, isn't it? So, but all these sins are wiped off, will be removed. You can cross all these sins using Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam. If you hear Srimad Bhagavatam, that is the greatness and, of Bhagavatam. So, reading Bhagavatam has got so much of benefits. These are all the usual sins we do, and we are getting removed from sins by chanting or by hearing Shravanam, by hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. But the Bhagavatam has got benefits. Benefit is, if one who daily recites Srimad, there are persons who recites Bhagavatam daily, then that is equal to giving the sacred cows, as a dhanam to poor person. That's equal to that punyam of getting that much punyam one will get. If one who daily reads or hears even a half or 1/4 of a verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, attains the result of giving 1,000 cows in charity. That's what it is said. In the scriptures, it is said. See, that's how you are acquiring the wealth. See, you are acquiring money, but the money will, if you use the money then your account balance, you can see the account balance, it is decreasing. But this punyam, reading Bhagavatam and doing all this punyam, this will always increase your, you don't know how you become one day. That's what you will get, so much peace, so much nice feeling. And one day you will always, be one with Bhagavan. If you do Bhagavatam, that's what the scripture says. So one who reads Srimad Bhagavatam with full concentration attains the results of studying 18 Puranas. There are 18 Puranas. You don't have to read each Purana. By hearing, by focusing on Srimad Bhagavatam will give you all the punyams. And Pitrukal gets satisfied. They get Amritam. Pitrukal means forefathers. We don't know about forefathers. As I said, this Atmadevan story, they may be in a ghost form somewhere, and they have to attain moksha, isn't it? So if the Pitrukal get satisfied, if you are reading Srimad Bhagavatam, they get satisfied. It's said that in scriptures, they get Amritam Pitandi, means Pitaro Amritam, means in the lotus leaf, they are eating the Amritam. Pitrukal is eating. One has Srimad Bhagavatam in their house. That's enough. See, this Srimad Bhagavatam, Mahabharatam, are known as Jayam. Jayam means what? Victory. Jayam means victory. Because, Bhagavatam has got 18 cantos, skandam. 18 skandam, that is 18 cantos. And Mahabharatam has got 18 parvas. So Bhagavatam has got 12,000 slogams. So what happened is in Kadagayadi Jangai, that's one thing called Kadagaya. The number 18 is known as Jayam. It's known as victory. 18 is called victory. So the person who has Srimad Bhagavatam books in his hand attains victory. That's what it is said in scriptures. So those persons who worship, people worship Bhagavatam books. They keep Bhagavatam book, because Srimad Krishna and Bhagavatam is not different. Okay, they are not different. They are same. So the person who has Srimad Bhagavatam books in his hands attains victory. And those persons who worship the literature of Srimad Bhagavatam in their house are freed from all the sins. We have seen all the sins above, and they become worshipable by even the demigods. One thing I want to say here, like when Paramacharya here, Periva, Mahaperiva was there, Kalyana Rama Bhagavatar. That Kalyana Rama Bhagavatar used to read this Bhagavatam again and again and again and again. When that Bhagavatar, if he comes for the darshan of Mahaperiva used to do like this. Because he was not doing this for Kalyana Rama Bhagavatar. He was doing this because he has chanted so many times this Bhagavatam. See, that's how, even the saints, even the sages, they are equal to God. They are, they are God. They are God. Even they worship this Bhagavatam. So we become worshipable. In the age of Kali, one who regularly worship this Bhagavatam, I can say that they can dance without fear. Okay, that's how the ecstatic moment it will come. So it is said in the scriptures that all the holy rivers, ponds, kundams, it is ponds and lakes, and all the sacrifices they do in the Yaha, Yajna, they do all the sacrifices, all the 7 sacred cities. What are all the 7 sacred cities? Is Ayodhya, Mathura, Maya. Maya means Haridwar. Haridwar is called Maya. Kashi, Kanchi, Avanti, that is Ujjain, and Dwaraka. And all the holy mountains are present where Srimad Bhagavatam is described, because they wanted to hear that. So Srimad Bhagavatam is, when Srimad Bhagavatam is discussed here, then all these sacred things will come there. So one who hears Srimad Bhagavatam attains fame, religiosity, victory, freedom from all the sins or liberation. On hearing this Srimad Bhagavatam, one becomes religious and he lives a long life, free from disease, sinful reactions. He becomes free from all the sinful reactions, So Srimad Bhagavatam is a combination. It's a combination of all the avatarams of Bhagavan. Srimad Bhagavatam is considered as a precious grantham compared to all the granthas. So, if Bhagavatam, see the Bhagavatam and Bhagavadal means all the great sages and saints, all the Bhagavadals, they are identical because here the Bhagavadas or sages, saints and Mahans, both are competent remedies and both of them or either of them can be good enough to eliminate the obstacles. Because Mahans, all the sages, they lead their life in terms of Srimad Bhagavatam. And the book Bhagavatam, isn't it, is full of informations about the personality of the Godhead and his pure devotees, isn't it? So that is how Srimad Bhagavatam is. So this is the pride or importance of Bhagavatam. So we will, I think we will conclude Bhagavatam here. You can say that a little bit of opening of Bhagavatam, how it happened, where it happened. Okay. So first slokam, isn't it? The Janmadhyasya yato anvayadidarata sharteshu abhigyaswarat tene brahma hridaya adikavaye muhyanti yat surayah tejo vari mridam yatha vinimayo yatra trisargo mrisha damna svena sada nirasta kuhakam satyam param dhimahi. See, the opening of Srimad Bhagavatam describes its uniqueness, background, primary contents and the ultimate purpose. So what I'm trying to say is here, have attentive hearing of Srimad Bhagavatam. What it will do is it nourishes our spirit. It nourishes our spirit and, it cleanses our heart. And we don't know our original consciousness, isn't it? It awakens. This Srimad Bhagavatam awakens the original consciousness. The original consciousness is, what is our original consciousness? Our original consciousness is our true happiness. We have always been looking for, whatever we do, we are always looking for happiness only. Ultimately, we want to be happy. We want to have happiness. That's what we want. So we are looking for that happiness, true happiness. But the true happiness, all the happiness will disappear because we want other thing, other happy thing. If you are putting a fan for thing, for getting a little bit cold, we don't satisfy our thing because of fan, we want some more thing because then only we put the AC. See, we are going on and on and on. Our desires are, going on and on and on. Some way, at some point of time, we have to have a true happiness. Isn't some point of time we have to be contented. So we have to know our true nature. Our true nature is happiness only. So that's what it shows. Reading Bhagavatam or hearing Bhagavatam, it actually it shows, it awakens our original consciousness, that is true happiness. This starts in the Naimisharanyam, and I will start the Bhagavatam. I think I will start it in the next session. We'll go slowly only we have to go because it's a Bhagavatam. So it's a little bit bigger ocean. So I will conclude here by saying Purnamadam, and we will see next week. Okay. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnasya पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you all. Thank you. Next session.